right, welcome back, Twitch and YouTube. This is Bleak Faith. I've been wanting to stream this for a minute, and I'm actually going to turn the master down. Maybe that? No. Let me see. 0.15. 0.1. Let's try that. Let's try that. Yeah, okay. This is an epic Souls-like. I love this game. And I just started playing it like last week, I want to say. And it's just, it's a lot of fun. We'll talk about it. I'm trying to pull up my stream manager. And I just came off of Eternal card game doing Mono J in Gauntlet, and I got my butt kicked, which did not feel good, because I was trying to show off my meta deck, but I think this will go much better. So this is my meta build. This is my endgame build for Bleak Faith. It is a beautiful combination of style, of substance, and I'm just going to walk you through it really quick, and then I think we're going to do like a speed run, kind of, where I'll show you how it works. So, essentially, this is just straight up intelligence. I mean, you can see, like, the damage that we do is pretty absurd. What you really want to be paying attention to is, let me see. Did I pass it? Where is it? It's the, what? There it is. Technomancy penetration. You can see it's 35% right now. The cap is 75%, and when I pull out my main weapon for the build, it goes up to 75%, which is the cap for that stat. That's like pretty much our primary damage. That's like where our damage is coming from, along with our intelligence just being absurdly high. Just you can see I haven't put anything into anything except for intelligence. The perks are, I guess, a little flexible. What you really need is vampirism, and the reason for this is so you can leech flux. Leeching health is also really good, but then you're not keeping your flux pretty much at the cap, which, I mean, you kind of want your flux to be just replacing itself with all of your spells. So that's why I've got that set to flux. The Technomancer is really good because it gives you that massive boost to techno penetration, and it gives you, if you upgrade it the way that I have, you can get some flux back every 5 seconds, which is super helpful when you use the spells that are a little higher cost. Natural talent, this is kind of flex, you can do whatever you want with this, but constitution and then intelligence, pretty significant boosts. And then zealot, I think this is a pretty significant boost to damage. I can't always tell, but kind of a flex spot. The biggest one is vampirism, and then probably technomancer. So that's what our stats and perks are looking like. These abilities are amazing, both of them. The elemental just does ridiculous damage. It's crazy. You'll see. And we're on New Game Plus 4, I want to say. But, I mean, you can start building out, you can start building this early by just going intelligence, prioritizing that techno penetration, and then starting the game off with vampirism. You're going to be doing really well. And these, I mean, you can unlock these pretty early. I think they're probably the best abilities. I haven't messed around with the other ones a whole lot, but power armor just makes you invincible for a couple of hits, which is amazing. And then elemental just does absurd damage and kind of plays the game for you. In terms of, so my philosophy has always just been go as tanky as possible in almost every game. In almost every game I've played. If you watched any of my old streams, that's just what I do. So I just, whatever heavy armor you like, I like the Titan Slayer set. I think it looks dope. And then I've farmed out, because I'm on like New Game +4 or whatever, I've farmed out the crystals, gems, whatever they are, for maximum health points in these, because you can see we don't put anything into Constitution, right? So in order to be tanky, it's all coming from our equipment. So that's what's going on there. And then, and we're also not leeching health, right? Our staff does have, I'm using this, it's like the healing staff. So you've got Mending Light on there, and I've got it equipped with all the max Technomancy penetration gems, right? Just to hit the cap, that 75% techno penetration. And then for the rings, let me see. Yeah, the Hawk ring, just super good. Plus intelligence, +2 intelligence, and it gives us 10% more intelligence boost, or 10% boost, I guess. Yeah, bonus, 10% bonus to intelligence. The Ring of Exceeding Talent is just like crazy. It's essentially this game's version of the FAP ring, the Favor and Protection from Dark Souls. Kind of. It's just giving us a boost to everything, which is super cool. Amulet of Arcane, it's more techno penetration, helping us hit the cap. The stamina regen doesn't really matter. The cape is honestly, it's style, right? And the armor, right? Like I mean, you gotta have some style, you know. And this cape just looks dope. The one that actually is probably better for the build is the Spectral Scarf, I think, because it just gives you more intelligence. We don't really need more flux like the Tech Priest cape is giving us. The intelligence boost would just be a little more damage. And the crit damage is, I don't know if that's actually doing anything, but I like the way the Tech Priest cape looks. And so there you go. So anyway, with all that, and then this sword is a total flex spot. You can use whatever you want there. I don't actually use the sword. I just think it looks dope. And then I've got the graphics set to like super bright because I'm old and I don't like, my eyes don't like to look at stuff that's hard to see. So, and also I've got it set to cell shading, which I think looks kind of dope. I'm just kind of gonna be tearing through the game here as fast as I can, and I'll show you how we do against all the bosses. I still don't think that the bosses are necessarily super easy. Like, I saw another build that people, I think, is maybe the more popular way to play the game. It's like I think it's like an agility build where you're leeching health and flux and stamina with like the twin swords, right? Like the swords in each hand. And I don't know, I think that's like a super cool build. But the cool thing about this build is that you can kill stuff from far away. So like and I mean, magic is super dope, right? So I mean, who doesn't love like magic? And you know, I like slinging spells. I actually really like being a tanky spell slinger type build. That's kind of something I've been getting into for a while. And you'll see, you can just wreck. You can kind of just wreck everything. First boss coming up. Look at our summon. Like, this is New Game +4, and on just like the normal New Game Plus, I mean, the summon will kill everything for you pretty quickly. But you can see there, like, you enter boss arena, you put the summon up with your armor that makes you invincible, and you just start blasting, right? And it just, I mean, it doesn't go well for the boss. I'm not max level either. I think the max level is 40 or 45 once you hit this this point in the new game cycles. And I think this game goes infinitely into new game pluses. I'm not sure. It's honestly kind of hard to find info on this game because it is very not mainstream at this point. It's still kind of, I think people are still kind of discovering Bleak Faith. They're like, I don't know if, I think a lot of people probably try this game, decide that it's janky, and they stop playing it. But this is, like, honestly one of the cooler games I've probably ever played. If you can get past the jank, because there certainly is jank, and it's a really small dev team. It's like 3 people that made this game, which is crazy. Like, I don't think I have ever heard of a game like this being made with such a small team. This is, like, in my opinion, it's like as ambitious as it gets for such a small team. And apparently when this game first came out, I watched like Asmongold play it and whatever, right? And people were people were not nice to it. It was really, I mean, it was rough, right? But apparently the dev team has just fixed a ton of stuff, and I think it's super fun. Even with the jank, I think it's still really fun, and it's really cool too. Like the atmosphere is amazing in this game. Like the world building, it reminds me, it makes me nostalgic for a lot of other games. It reminds me, honestly, kind of Cyberpunk, and like the way that this game, the trajectory of its development also reminds me of Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk, as we all know, except the difference being Cyberpunk was made by CD Projekt Red. I mean, it was made by a massive studio, right? So like, I don't really think there's a whole lot of excuse for Cyberpunk to have launched as broken as it did. Whereas this game, it's like, okay, we're all managing expectations here. We know that a game this massive and ambitious, made by 3 people, is probably gonna be messed up in a lot of ways. I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion. But so like, I mean, I wasn't like horribly surprised. But it's totally worth playing. It's tons of fun. The build making in this game is super fun too. Like I've sunk a lot of hours messing with builds, and you can see that just the world looks super cool. I am kind of a sucker for like cyberpunk kind of stuff, and this game, it scratches the itch, man. Cyberpunk is another really great one. I was thinking about streaming that one too. But I mean, when you first start playing this, it's almost kind of overwhelming. Like, you get kind of lost, which is really cool. Like, I don't typically like getting lost in games. It annoys me a lot of the time. But with this game, I just pick a direction and I go, and it seems like it's just like a little adventure. I don't know. Like, it's cool. It's cool it feels good to get lost in this game. And there's like, the environments are just super dope. The enemy design is really interesting. I think honestly, kind of just the whole art direction that they took with this is awesome. It doesn't really look like anything I've ever seen before. Even though it reminds me of a lot of stuff, it still feels like super unique. And I like to just leave my summon behind to deal with stuff sometimes, because it's so powerful. And just to watch the experience bar on the side, it's great. And as you can see, like, the game is not it is not overly difficult. It is very easy to break this game, which personally I don't mind. I think that's fun. But it can also be a good challenge at times. It can be a janky challenge. It doesn't always feel good when you die in this game, which is kind of a shame. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we'll make it through this run pretty quickly, because there's not a ton of bosses. There's only like a couple, especially that are mandatory. Need a little wall. All right. All right.
Well, hello there.
That's the upgrade lady. I like her a lot. She cool. She cool. But yeah, it's been a couple days. I took a little break from this game before I decided to stream it. I knew it was one that I wanted to stream though, because it's so cool. But yeah, no, it's tough when you're first getting started. Even like as like a Souls veteran, this is it is a very interesting Souls. Like, it reminds me of Code Vein a little bit, and it reminds me a little bit of the Surge as well, which are other like super good Souls likes. And you can see like that attack that caster just did is it's like their heaviest attack, right? But when you're this tanky, it just does little baby damage. It's not a big deal at all. And I definitely get the build idea of like leeching health and stamina and flux, to the point where you're just replacing everything with every attack. Like, that's awesome. But like, for when you're just wanting to sprint through the game, this build is great, because you can leave that summon, right, and you're just so tanky that like not a whole lot can really touch you. Of course, when you run out of stamina, you can't cast anymore. Even though casting doesn't cost stamina, you still have to have some in order to cast. It's kind of interesting. They definitely made some interesting choices with this game. Oh, there's my summon. The summon, there's some problems with it that are honestly probably good, because they maybe make it a little more balanced. Like, you can't, it really doesn't know how to follow you super well. So it kind of gets lost. And the pathing isn't great, but man, when it finds its target, like you're about to see, it does work. It's also really it's a total glass cannon, right? So like it'll get hit like once and just die, which is probably good again, right? And I think it takes like a minute to recharge the summon. So sometimes that can put you in a little bit of an awkward place in a boss battle if you, like, you know, were really depending on that summon, and then it just dies. You gotta wait a little bit to get it back. This guy's a bit of a joke. I mean, let's be honest, like, I would say half the bosses aren't actually super difficult, especially with this build. Like, you're normally supposed to climb that dude, And there's actually an achievement to kill him without climbing him. I've got all the Chivos already in this game, so, you know, it doesn't matter for me. But, like, this build is fantastic for getting the achievements to kill bosses in special ways. It's pretty dope. And there's, like, aside from the game being, like, a little janky, like, I feel like, which I think the devs can honestly continue working on, there's really only a few choices that they made that I don't like. There's a lot of cool things that they've done here. They made a carry weight tied to the strength stat, which just makes, like, so much sense to me. But carry weight, I haven't really seen it. I haven't really noticed it affecting, like, movement speed and all that a whole lot personally. So I don't know. Like, I like, if you're a strength build, like, strength is, you know, it's like the go-to stat, obviously, because it makes your damage crazy for strength weapons, like, really good, and the carry weight, I guess, too. But like you see, like, I've got the heaviest stuff in the game basically on, and I can still move around just fine, which is unlike the Dark Souls games. Interesting choice. There's no stat requirements for weapons. You can use any weapon you like, but the stats still, every weapon still scales with a stat, so you're definitely encouraged to play with the weapons that you're upgrading the stats for. And in terms of choices that which I think is cool, but in terms of choices that I don't like, there are a few things that are probably kind of small. Weirdly enough, this game actually does have a permadeath mechanic, which is so wild. Like, I don't know a whole lot of games that that still have that. That seems like so old school. And if you were looking at the stat screen earlier, when I was showing off the build, like, the stat for that determines the permadeath is called entropy, and it's to be fair, like, the permadeath mechanic is, you almost have to, like, try to to permadie. If your entropy gets to 100%, your character gets deleted. Like, straight up, your character gets deleted, which is so crazy. But the only way to build up entropy is by dying to these very specific enemies that start appearing halfway through the game, and each time you die, and also the final boss, I guess, has certain attacks that if you die by, it builds up the entropy. And every time, but the thing is, every time you die to one of those, it only increases the entropy by, like, 1/4 to 1/2%. So that's why I say it's not a big deal. It's a choice, right? Like, they made that decision probably knowing that a lot of people wouldn't be a fan of it, but I still don't know of any documented cases where somebody actually permadied, like, not on purpose. You know what I'm saying? I know there's a YouTube video where some guy shows it off, what happens when you get to 100% entropy, just because I think nobody really knew what it did. I don't know if anybody did actually get their account deleted by that. That would be crazy, and I would have been, like, incredibly irritated if that ever happened to me, because, like, by that point, if you've reached 100% entropy, like, God knows how many hours you've put into that character, right? No, I don't want to kill these. Where did the boss go? Oh my gosh. The camera also can be a little janky, as you can see. But I don't think it matters. I think my summon is... Maybe not. Where's the boss? What is going on? I completely lost sight of the boss. What? Oh, is that him? Ah! And I also can't lock onto him right now, which is amazing. This is what I'm talking about. A little bit of jank, right? But it never hurt anyone. Yeah, this is one of those bosses that I don't know. I definitely wouldn't say that the build struggles with. This build probably does better against this boss than other builds, because you can just blast him out of the sky. And again, there's an achievement to kill this boss without killing any of his little minions here. So, to be honest, this is probably a shooty build is probably the best way to fight this boss. But it's still kind of annoying. And you can, but it's probably the easiest way to get that achievement, to kill him without messing with any of these little guys. So yeah, again, probably the best build for that, honestly. All right. But yeah, he was another one of the main ones, one of the main bosses. So that's 3 major bosses down. There's 1 more to go, and then we've got a little swimming section, which is, again, probably another thing that I don't think the game necessarily needed. I don't like swimming in video games. I don't think most people like swimming in video games. So I question that decision. The climbing on the big enemies is also cool, but it's kind of like you can tell this game was influenced by a lot of different games, like Shadow of the Colossus, right, being one of them. But I don't think the team really had the resources to pull that off. It's pretty janky. Climbing on people in this game is pretty janky. So yet another decision that I kind of question. I really, really hope that either the studio that made this game continues to grow and does really well, and then eventually remakes the game with all the assets that they honestly need to kind of optimize it. Or maybe the rights get bought by a big studio. I mean, that would be crazy, right? And then another big studio takes it over and consults with the original studio, so they don't completely ruin the vision of this game. Because I do think, like, the people who made this had a really cool vision. Like, this game is super cool. Like, it is not like, it's unique. I mean, it borrows a lot, you can tell, from Souls. I mean, it's a Souls-like, but it really does its own thing, and I think it's super cool. And I'm not the kind of person who minds jank if it's a fun game, and if it's a good game. I think this is a good game. I got kicked out of my party. Xbox did that amazing thing where it kicks you out of the party after a while, and I don't like when it does that, because my audio might get screwed up. We'll see. Hopefully my audio is fine through all that. But yeah, I hope this game one day gets the proper remake that it deserves with all the assets. I mean, look at this. This area is super cool, by the way. Super dope. And we are going for the last major boss before we swim. And after we swim, we can go all the way to the bottom of the game and fight through the final areas and the final boss, which is pretty cool. I mean, I think that even though, like, oh man, what is this is the kind of jank I'm talking about. I'm like stuck right now. I don't know what just happened. But that guy also like could barely do any damage to me. You can actually ride this gigantic dragon worm thing too. I don't think there's any point to it, but it's super cool. But I actually think this game maintains the enjoyment pretty much throughout. I think it's all really cool. From the start to the end, even though the campaign, I don't know, the story mission bosses, whatever you say, whatever you'd call Dark Souls, if you're running through like the main, just all the main stuff to finish the game as quickly as possible. It's, even though that's pretty quick, the world is super big, so you can still spend hours and hours and hours exploring the world, and you kind of just never know what you're gonna run into. And it's another weird thing that I actually think kind of works is that the game is designed in such a way where like it's jank, right? And so you don't always know if the way that you're going is intentional from the devs or if you're just breaking through the world. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. It almost reminds me of like, because most games, what they do is they put up invisible walls everywhere so that the devs are kind of holding your hand, like putting the rails up. You're kind of on rails, I feel like, in a lot of games. And not so at all with this game. You can pretty much go wherever you want and start walking on ledges and, you know, exploring all of the interesting geometry. And even if you end up hitting a dead end and you just have to quit and come back into the last checkpoint because you weren't intended to go that way, even if that happens, it still feels like kind of fun exploration to me. I don't know. It almost reminds me of like the Halo games. Like Bungie made those games with very few invisible walls, right? You could really get out of bounds and mess around and have fun with that. And I think that most developers are too scared to do that. And it kind of bums me out because it makes gaming feel kind of restricted, you know? Like, what's like the first thing like players do when they play a game? Like I don't know. I mean, if you're me, you're trying to like break out of the boundaries and whatnot and see how far you can push it, you know? And a lot of games will just say, no, you can't do that. And I think that's kind of lame. I think it's much cooler and more interesting and also just brave of developers to say, you know, we're not gonna restrict you. You can actually go to all the spots that we've designed in this level. I don't know, dude. I think it's dope. I think that's a cool design philosophy. I'm glad that this game is like that, even if it's janky, even if it means it has to be a little jankier. Because I think the worst thing a game can be is like boring, you know? And this game, I do not think this game is boring. I think it's super cool. You can see like even like the level design is super massive. But to me, and I actually do get annoyed when games feel too big a lot of the time and it's not justified. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a reason for it. But in the case of this game, I think it actually makes sense. And it makes you feel like a very small part of a gigantic world, which is so cool. I mean, it's so cool. There's not a lot of games that I think can really capture that. that feeling, you know, of you being like a very small part of a big old world. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. I have a lot of thoughts about this game. And I'm not actually going this way. I'm just grabbing that bonfire, the homunculus. The way Estus works in this game too, you don't actually have refillable Estus, which I don't necessarily like. They kind of take a Dark Souls 2 approach with that. Dark Souls 2 had refillable Estus, but it also had a billion other healing stuff. And that's kind of how this game does it. There's like a bunch of different healing items, and you can craft them and find them and stuff. And I've gotten better about this over time, but I used to be super weird about like not wanting to use consumables. And I think just as I've gotten older and I want to like blow through games faster, I'll just use consumables like kind of willy-nilly. And so, but regardless, I still like my build to have kind of built-in healing that I like it to be sustainable without consumables, which is where the life leech for a lot of builds comes into play with this game. And in my case, like the healing staff, like the heal is like your whole, for the staff, it's like your whole health bar basically. And it's a pretty quick recharge time on that ability, so it's a extremely effective heal. Extremely. If I was like gonna make this build even more optimized, I would probably get rid of the big sword, but I don't want to because it's super cool. I would probably replace it with like another staff or something, because there's another staff I was messing with that actually has super cool abilities, but then the problem is, well, if I put the healing staff away and I don't have life leech, then I'm dependent on the consumable for healing, which I'm not a huge fan of. And I honestly don't need a whole lot of abilities. Like the staff, just like the normal shot, is super good. And the heal is really the only ability from the staff that we need, because we have the element, the summon, and the armor ability, which are just like crazy good. So you know, to each their own. You can do whatever you want with this kind of build, but I do like having the flux replace itself, because I mean, you're really spamming these magic abilities and killing stuff from afar, which is super cool and fun. Actually, I've never tried to shoot this thing. I wonder if you can do damage to it. Nope. I think it just goes through. There's a worm boss that will come up on after this guy, that you can kill from afar with magic. It's actually pretty funny. You don't even have to enter the boss fight. But yeah, anyway, I just got 750 experience for something. Sometimes things die off screen, or like maybe it's because I'm like discovering a new area. I don't really get it. I don't know. But yeah, you can see this big worm creature parks here, and you can jump on it and fly around. I don't feel the need to do that right now, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Do you feel like the game is empty, says Ratjar? And you know what? I mentioned that a little bit earlier, and weirdly enough, I have that problem with certain games. I hate to say it, but I do feel like Elden Ring is kind of empty. But I don't feel that way with this game. And I think, and maybe there's some bias there. You know, I'm always bashing Elden Ring. You know how it is. I do think that there is a lot of empty space in this game, but it feels like more intentional to like the design of the game. It kind of feels like it's supposed to be that way. And I think that part of the reason for that is that they really nail the atmosphere. And so lots of empty space that I would have a problem with in other games feels like it's actually supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? And the reason I'm not... okay, now I'm going to summon my elemental. But the reason I wasn't there was because I didn't want him to kill it. And he kills it super fast. But you can see my I can't hit him right now because of where he's at in the arena. Like, my shots, like, it doesn't let you. But my elemental can kick his ass. Like, you can see, it is just wasting him from the side. And I really didn't want him to kill it before he went up there because I can't hit him while he's up there. So the only way I can do damage is with my elemental. So that's another reason I think this build is just crazy. For like that kind of situation. I mean, and let's be real, he's one of the main bosses of the game. So I mean, you're kind of, if you're making like an endgame build, you want it to make sense when you're fighting the biggest challenges of the game, right? Like, trash mobs are one thing. I don't think anyone has a lot of problems with them, but the big bosses are kind of what you need to worry about. So the fact that we can just trivialize like probably one of the harder fights in the game like that with just blasting him away at range, not even ourselves, but with our elemental, it's pretty dope. But yeah, no, I like that question. Like, the game does feel empty, but it's a good empty. It's a good empty. It's, I mean, there's not a whole lot of games that I think are so big like this. The environments are so big, they make you feel really small. And almost like you're not even supposed to be here or like you're not even supposed to be traversing it. Like it was made for, I don't know, like, it's something about the art direction and the atmosphere of this game that makes the emptiness feel intentional, and it's just really interesting to look at. I think I've heard people compare this style. Oh, I'm skipping that. I don't know why I was watching that. The cutscenes are not great in this video game. What just happened? But I think I've read some people online comparing the art style of this game to like painters. Like, I think from like the 20th century, almost kind of abstract or like absurdist painters. I don't know what the word would be for it. Maybe surreal, maybe like surreal, kind of surrealism. Or dystopian, maybe like dystopian kind of artists, where you've just got these winding stairways through these like derelict cities, you know, that just kind of go on and on and on forever without like a clear purpose. It's really cool. Like, I dig it a lot. It feels like very existential and dystopian, and I don't think that a whole lot of games. I think it's honestly it's kind of bold. Like, I think the devs had a really interesting vision here that they went for. It's like urban, but it's also like dark fantasy too, or it's like futuristic. It's really cool. It's kind of difficult to describe the visuals in this game. I think it borrows influence from a lot of different places, but man, I'm so here for it. Like, it looks so much cooler than just about every AAA game that comes out, in my opinion, nowadays. I mean, man, when a team of 3 people can make a world that is more intriguing and interesting to look at and explore than most of these giant studios that come out nowadays. Like, I mean, that says something about where we're at. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys made a cooler game than most studios can ever dream of. I mean, it's just so sick. It's so sick. And I've heard some people comment and say, like, well, if they're charging money for a broken game, like, that's on them, you know. And this game is, in my opinion, very reasonably priced. I think I got it on sale for like $25. But I think it normally goes for $35. And the value that you're getting from this game for its typical price of $35 versus a typical $60, $70 plus AAA game, I mean, dude, it's like not even comparable. Like, I think this is way more value that you're getting out of this game. This is the part that I kind of struggle with. I forget exactly where to go. There's like a sewage drain through one of these like kind of urban areas that we need to get to. Maybe it's over here. Huh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna start wandering and just again, you can get kind of lost in this game, you know. There's a lot of branching paths, and I've heard this game compared to the design philosophy of like Dark Souls 1, and I kind of agree. Like, you'll just be exploring these like insane winding pathways, which I think is much more intricate than most of the level design in Dark Souls 1. I mean, you can see, like, I'm just like getting lost in these like little city streets here. And then suddenly you like make a turn and you wrap around and you come around to a place that you've seen before. It's got that interconnected level design, right? And it's super cool. This is the like sewer line or whatever that I was looking for. This is how we get to the swimmy area. What's up? Did you get some good stuff? No. But yeah, super cool, super underrated game. I think more people should play this game. Look at this jank. I love the little spasms that the checkpoints do sometimes. It's kind of funny. Okay. Yeah, like, look at this freaking monstrosity. It's crazy, dude. It's dope. Super dope. We've only got a couple more bosses. This, we're coming up on the swimmy section, which is probably my least favorite part of the game. I don't know why developers feel the need to put swimmy sections in video games anymore. It's just, it almost never, I don't think I can think of one that I've ever enjoyed, like swimming in a video game. Does anybody like doing that? I don't know, dude. I think I'm okay with the water just being deadly and nobody knowing how to swim in video games. I think that's fine. I think Pokemon, I think that's fine because you don't have to worry about swimming underwater. Because swimming underwater is where I get personally like kind of overwhelmed, and I don't like being underwater in games. It feels like almost like too much. Similarly, I don't think I really like flying in video games either. Like, that's one of the things that's kind of holding me back from getting What's that FromSoft like mech game? Armored Core, the new Armored Core. I want to play that really bad at some point because it looks awesome, but I don't think I like all of the potential for all of that space to explore across all of those dimensions. Like, I like having my feet on the ground while I explore, and I like verticality, but I don't like just flying through three-dimensional space like that, or swimming through three-dimensional space like that. It just feels like too much to me. I don't know if other people feel that way, but because I know lots of people are like really excited about like flying in games. Is like, a lot of people think that's cool, but I don't know, dude. I think it's too much. I don't think anybody likes swimming. I don't in video games. I don't think I've ever met anybody who was like, that's like what they look forward to in games. But we're coming up on it. I'm pretty sure it's this way. Yeah, it's this way. It's over here. The lighting is another issue that this game has, unfortunately. Like, the atmosphere is super cool, but even just on the default graphics, like, I think it's too dark. I have trouble seeing. There is a torch, but like, do you really want to be carrying around a torch the whole game? I don't, personally. Especially because all the weapons I like to use in this game are two-handed. You'd think that the staff, you could hold something in the other hand, because the dude only holds the staff with one hand, but you can't. You cannot, unfortunately. But the one thing I will say about the world being this large, it makes repeat playthroughs feel a little bit like there's like too much padding. I could see that argument of there just for like repeat playthroughs, just too much like running without doing a whole lot. Oh my god. Here we go. Yeah, and you can see I can actually just beat people with this staff too, and it's super strong just for that as well. But I think it's more fun to sling spells. And also, like, just better too, because they don't even have a, like, look at that, they don't even have a chance to react. Like, you're just blasting them from range. Something cool too about the loot in this game is that you cannot pick up repeat loot. And I'm talking about like armor and weapons and stuff. And like the jewelry. You can only ever pick up one of each of those, and they fall from just like normal enemies. So every time you find something that's kind of exciting, you know that it's something that you have not seen before. Kind of nice. Almost feels like kind of like quality of life, because like I get a little bogged down with like inventory management in games. I'm trying to put my another really cool mechanic, putting the personal checkpoint down. It's like a bonfire that you carry with you. It's super cool, super convenient, and I think it's a really good choice too in a game world that is this large, with so much running, to have a little pocket bonfire that you can put down really saves you from long run backs to like bosses and stuff, or just even some of the mobs that are a little harder. Like, you throw that bad boy down after you've been running for a while. Very convenient. Very convenient. Okay, so here's our swimmy section. It's not too bad. It doesn't go on for all that long. These like gigantic eel things will wreck you. Like they pick you up and like they take you random places, which is bad. I don't like that. It's kind of cool. It means you have to maybe try to be a little stealthy, like stick near buildings and stuff while you're swimming. But this is probably my least favorite part of the game. It's a little boring. And these like little lampposts that provide the red light, they're marking where you need to go, but they give you oxygen. You see that oxygen bar at the bottom? Super random. Super random. Like there's no, why would it do that? I don't know. It's a little oxygen station that is proximity based. Sure. That's so random. Oh man, and we're clipping through the visuals. It looks ugly. It looks bad. There we go. We're very close to the end already of this water section, which is good. If you're gonna have a water section, please make it fast. Like anybody developing games, if you ever hear this, I don't think anybody likes them. I don't know. Okay, yeah. So it's just we follow these, a couple more of these, and then we're at the next. Whatchamacallit. I don't know what to call those things. Go. Go. Amazing. Amazing. There it is. There it is. Last one coming up. The music is cool too. Really helps to set the tone. Woo! That's the thing down there. I don't know what these things are. This game gets really into, like, the story is kind of, I don't know, esoteric. I don't know what the word would be. It's classic Souls, kind of ambiguous, difficult, obtuse, difficult to understand. But it has something to do with time and space and how those things are operating on this weird kind of parallel universe. Kind of cool. I actually think that the kind of weird storytelling works in this game. I think a lot of Souls games do it just Souls-like games. I think they do it just to be like Dark Souls. Like weird stories that are kind of non-stories that are super difficult to understand and abstract and whatnot. I think a lot of them do it just to be like Dark Souls, and I don't think that they need to do that. I think lots of Souls-like games could just be a more traditional story, and that's fine. Like Code Vein and The Surge. I think they have awesome stories. And another thing I like that this game does is it actually has music, like ambient music, which is fabulous. Again, another thing that I just don't think that Souls-likes need to copy from Souls games. Okay, there we go. I don't think there's any reason for it. I think that we can just have music in Souls-likes and it's fine, you know? Okay, so now I'm actually just going to quit out and come back in so that I can get to that checkpoint. Dratchar says, crazy, you think this game that makes your TV broken is good? It's good, dude. I promise you, it's good. Even though it's jank, and the visuals are jank in a lot of areas. I'll turn on the normal graphics, and you can decide what you think. Because it looks, you're gonna cringe and laugh when you see my visual settings. I have everything cranked up, but part of that is, I swear, part of it is just because I'm older, and I don't like having, I don't like things to be dark, and it also makes me happier to play brighter games. Okay, so here's what the game, like, it looks good in, I would say, most of it. Like, these are the normal graphics, right? Okay. I just have the visuals super, I have them weirdly laid out. Okay. So, Retro says, I'm kidding, I like the art style. Dude, I love the art style in this game. It's cool. It is weird. It is weird when they do that, that sequence that we just went through where it gets all like grayed out and stuff. But you can see, like, even this, like, I think it's too dark, you know? I know the game is called Bleak Faith, but does it really have to be this? People like that kind of stuff, but I did not mean to have my my big sword out. It's completely useless. There's no reason it's just for style. But I just don't think, like, games need to be so freaking dark, dude. I mean, look at this. It's ridiculous. Another trap. I think it's another trap for developers that they fall into, like, darker is better for some reason. I disagree. I like color. I like light. And I do like how a lot of the areas are designed in this game. I think they look cool. But I think it falls into the trap a little bit of the dark. Just too much darkness. But you can see some of it is really cool how they do the lighting. Okay. And I do like I like how my character looks. The cell shading is kind of fun. It's fun that they give you, like, different visual options. I don't think I've ever known a game to do that either. Another really interesting choice that they made here.
Speech is silver, silence is gold. There is
Lol.
no meaning to an
You don't have to
existence
talk to these NPCs. I talked to them for like 2 seconds just to get the little boost in XP because they give you a little XP. But I mean, I've played it 4 times. Like, I'm not trying to talk to people. I don't want to watch cutscenes. I'm trying to show off this build and show off how cool this game looks. Where did that come from?
I was in the guest room.
Is it Is it somebody else's? That's really weird and creepy.
Did you put it there?
I don't know. Go ask him. Soy wife just found a really creepy doll. Yeah, that is really weird.
I'm rearranging the guest room so I can use it for Supernatural. I can't do it outside anymore.
Oh, why?
Sunlight disrupts.
Oh.
Controllers mapping to your hands.
Oh no.
And it defeats the purpose.
Yeah, that does defeat the purpose. Okay. Okay. And I think this next area is about to get super dark, so I might just put my visuals back the way I like it. Cause, dude, I'm telling you, it's already, like, too hard to see for me. Like, look at this crap. It's too much. It's too much. I don't know what is happening right now. Yep, I fell because I couldn't see what I'm doing. I can't see what I'm doing. Oh my god. And I'm glad that they give you all these visual options because it is, like, I don't know, maybe some people are cool with, like, for this level of darkness, but for me, like, I can't do it, dude. I can't do it. I'm already, like, look at that. You can't see anything. I'm turning it back. Can't do it. Turn up the gamma, turn up the sharpening, turn up the saturation, put it on cell shaded, boom. I can see again. Oh my God, I can see again. Like, and they've designed a really cool world. Like, why do you want it to be so dark that you can't see anything? I don't understand. Is it just me? Is it just me? I mean, I want to see stuff in my video games. Like, it also just makes me happier too. I'm very like emotionally affected by lighting. Lighting is everything. Lighting and colors and, you know, all of it. All of it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of those things. But yeah, they made choices. They made a lot of choices, and they're interesting choices in this game too. Soy wife sounds like she is destroying the house. Oh my God. Why did I do that? I thought the ground was much closer than that. I failed. I fell. Are you taking that to the shed? I don't even think she can hear me.
Well, hello.
I might need to help her right when I'm done with this. Are you taking that to the shed? I can help you. Just let me finish this stream. She is dismantling the guest bedroom. Oh no, she's got it. She's taking it apart and everything. Man, Soy Wife is doing stuff today. What are you doing?
I need to be able to use that room to work out in.
That's amazing.
Now that soy, whatever the fuck you call
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Soy Slurp.
I'm going to use that room
All right.
for Supernatural.
Cool.
Because I'm tired of barriers between me and physical activity.
Yeah, I get that.
Joy.
I get that.
Just let me know when you're ready.
It'll be pretty soon. I mean, maybe like 20 minutes. I want to say we got like 20 minutes left in this bad boy. That death was so depressing. There was absolutely no reason for me to jump there. There was just a neuronal activation in my brain that just made me do it. I don't know what to say. I just pushed forward and I jumped and I died. Oh my God. I want to say it was a streamer moment. I don't know if I would have done that if I was just playing. Because I definitely have not done that before. If I'm just playing it normally. But I'm trying to go fast too, that's the other thing. Then you got this long run back. It's one of the problems with having a world this big. You got some run backs, you know? And there's really not a ton of homunculi bonfires either, right? Like they're surprisingly sparse. You know, my summon just doing work over here. This lift, it takes its time. It takes its time. Fascinating looking summon. Fascinating. Yeah, look at that. That was just absurd how long that took. All right, we're not gonna jump off this time. I promise. I promise. All right. That might be the one death of the run. I could have made a world record. Actually, dude, I'm really curious about the speedrunning times in this game. Yeah, see, I thought this roof was the ground, but it was not. It was a visual distortion. Oh yeah, this was way further down. Holy crap. I'm curious about the speedrunning times because I'll bet you they can break their way to the end of this game without even fighting bosses. I'm willing to bet this game is that level, right? Where they can probably just skip to the end right away. Putting a homunculus here. I don't think I've ever died. Oh, I'm eating my words. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, yeah, you can mantle too, which is nice and also very necessary because of the insane geometry that you're dealing with a lot of the time. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I've ever died in this little platforming section. One of the few kind of platforming sections that is mandatory. But just in case, I like to put my checkpoint there. Going down into this, honestly, it reminds me a little bit of Seath, like his crystal cave. Kind of what this part reminds me of from Dark Souls 1. And there is an optional boss too that we're definitely going to go for because it's very cool. And our summon just makes them look like a little baby. But in order to get to the optional boss, it's really it's very interesting. I'll explain it when we get there. But there's an achievement for it as well. And again, if you want the achievements in this game, I think this is the build for it. You can get pretty much all of them, I think, very easily with this build. There's not a lot of achievements in this game. It's mostly like doing bosses in unintended ways. And the way you can just blast them all with this build, pretty much it makes you like meet the requirements for those achievements. So just by beating them with this build, it's pretty sick. I generally like to max out my favorite games achievement-wise, and I have actually another Souls like I was playing was Nostalgaia, and I might go back and max that one out too at some point. It's another interesting one. I would say I don't think it's nearly as cool as this one, but that is an interesting Souls like. And I've downloaded a couple other games. I've started playing Mass Effect 2, the Legendary Edition. Oof. I love the Mass Effect games, and I played the first one in the Legendary Edition, and like maxed out the Chivos on that one. And then I've taken a very long break from Mass Effect, and now I'm kind of getting back into it with the second one, and it's just like one of those games like you come back to and you're like, man, it's just very good. Even though it hasn't necessarily aged super well in every respect, it's one of those games you go back to and it's like, wow, I can't believe this exists. It's like just so much better than most games. Okay, here we go. All right, now this is not an intended direction. I'm almost positive by the devs, but I like using this. Oh God! Oh my God! Okay, cool. We're good. No worries. Because we need to get to this little bridge, right? And I like using that little janky cliff route to get here because it gets you here super fast. It's pretty fun. A little bit of risk reward kind of thing. Still in a party. There we go. That's good. All right, we're coming up on the worm boss, which is potentially the jankiest boss in the game. I think. Again, it's like a super cool idea. I hope one day they remake the game and it can be as incredible as I know it has the potential to be. Because this game has potential, let me tell you. It's already cool and really fun, but it has the potential to just be like one of those incredible classic games. I think if they ever get the chance to do it properly, with the proper resources. Okay. So yeah, normally you're supposed to go out and aggro this boss and start fighting it, and like you climb on it to kill it, which is cool, but like I am not a huge fan of the boss in its current state. Like it is too janky, and so I end up just cheesing it with this probably unintentional way of fighting it. But again, there's an achievement to fight this boss without climbing it, or to kill it without climbing it. And this method will get you, it gets you the achievement. Look at that. The worm is dead. It's so funny. Definitely the intended way to fight that without even aggroing it. Just blast it from 5 years away. All right. And just like that, we're basically in the home stretch. We've got a couple more bosses and a couple more areas that are kind of cool. They're kind of cool. Let's roll. Oh, my tummy's, I bet that's coming through on the mic. I need to go back and watch this because my tummy is making the rumblies. I'm gonna have to eat some num-nums in a bit. As soon as I finish this stream and help Soy Wife move some stuff from the guest room. Yeehaw. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. It is very strange. Very strange indeed. Oh boy. Oh boy.
The crusade they've mustered is
Boom.
with power.
Echoes, which we don't need anymore because we've already maxed out the handler. And they're, the point of them is to give her, like, allow her to upgrade your stuff more. But we're max upgraded because we're endgame. Another game I was thinking about, I think this might be a new thing that I do. I might go back to some old favorites, and then when I play a new game and get to end, like, any game that I get an end game build with, I might just upload like a run and a build guide to. I think that might be another thing that I start doing, a new segment on the Soy Boy stream. Because it's fun. I love breaking games and making super strong builds. It is like one of my favorite things to do. And I'm not sure how many people are really aware of how busted magic is in this game. Technomancy or whatnot. Ooh, all right. This next boss, total joke with this build. Just wait and see. And then we're coming up on the labyrinth too, which is kind of cool. Oh, you know what? I think we can actually upgrade. Or level up, rather. I think we've got to level up. Yes, we do, because we've been getting lots of experience. And we're at the point where we're only getting a 2% increase in damage with each point of intelligence, but I still think it's totally worth it. Because it's just so good. Oops. Oh, I'm pressing the wrong button. Dear Lord. Don't attack the summon. Attack me. No. No, my summon died. Don't make me eat my words, Archbishop. Oh boy. He's brought me into the underworld. Not sure if it's gonna matter, but get a little heal off anyway. Okay. You're dead, dude. Come on. Whoa, is he not dead? Oh, that was actually a little scary for a second. He looked dead, but he wasn't dead. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And his little minions were starting to wake up. It was a little freaky. It was a bit freaky. Oh, dude, I'm rewatching Castlevania with Soy Slurp and Soy Wife. The anime, Netflix, so good, so good. And I started watching One Piece, and it's kind of mid. I finished full Alchemist Brotherhood, so I started One Piece because I thought it would be a little bit similar. And I have very mixed feelings about that. But I also I picked back up where I left off on My Hero Academia too. And I love My Hero Academia. And I've still got I guess the last couple seasons, which I haven't seen, which I'm getting through now. And it is, oh boy, it is good. Let me see here. This labyrinth isn't bad. It's kind of cool. It definitely slows you down a little bit though. Labyrinth, maze. I think this is actually a maze. I think a labyrinth only actually has one path. I think that's the difference. And a maze has a bunch of dead ends that you can hit. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. Just having my summon kind of do the dirty work, you know. Oh, that's a dead end. That's fun. Boom. Yeah, the next part is actually super cool. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the game. Even though it's just kind of running simulator, but it's super epic. And you know how I feel about super epic stuff. This game atmospherically also kind of reminds me of like a Chris Nolan movie. Like, I love those movies. I love Chris Nolan. Just super intense and dark and like kind of gritty. Atmospheric. Come on now. Here we go. I think, maybe. No? Yes? Please? Makes me deeply uncomfortable when they attack my summon. Boom. Well, shoot. Here we go. Here we go, maybe. Again. I do love how fast you can run through this game as well. It's that's just fun. That's just good fun. Yes. Yes. All right, we've reached the singularity. So yeah, if you turn around here, you're presented with an opportunity for a little extra gubbins sort of boss with a very cool boss run. One of the kind of coolest I've actually seen in just about any game. I mean, just everything comes together for this. It feels very epic. You'll see what I mean in a second. And something crazy about this is that you only get one opportunity per playthrough to fight this guy. If you die during this boss run, or during the boss, I guess, it just transports you to the next area, which is the point of no return for that playthrough. So, it actually, I have mixed feelings about that, but it adds a level of tension to this that I don't think would have been possible otherwise. I'm also using some oxygen boosting stuff here so that I don't, because you can actually die. Like your oxygen meter starts ticking down too, as you can see. It's very cool. It's very cool. And it took me a couple of playthroughs because I screwed it up a few times. It took me a couple to get to the boss. And then, you know, my summon makes the boss look like a baby, but the run is cool and it is really intense. I love how they did this. So sick. I've never seen anything like this in a game. Maybe there's some examples, but like, dude, it almost like kind of gives me chills. Kind of the peak of this game, honestly. All right, this is where it gets real. This gets kind of real. This is the part that will make or break your run to this optional boss. It's super cool. But I mean, if you fall down like any of these holes or anything, like, it's over. It's over until the next new game run. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh man. All right, I think this is fine. And you want to keep up the pace too, because I think there's something chasing me right now, like a fog or something. that'll kill me. Oh boy. All right, here we go. I'm like feeling like weirdly stressed even though I've already got this achievement. Like, dude. Oh. Whew. All right, I think we've done it. I think we've done it. Yeah, not super hard, but the fact that you can only do it once per playthrough, that you can only attempt it once per playthrough, is crazy. And then the visuals are jank, so I don't even know where the boss is. What is going on? Oh, there he is. Yeah, and then my summon kills him immediately. But that, so I mean, the boss is, you know, when you've got a build like this, he's a complete joke, even on New Game, like 4 or whatever. But the run to the boss is crazy. Oh, this is broken. This is totally broken. I'm gonna have to reset. This is crazy. What? What? What is this? Okay, whatever. It'll reset me. That's so funny. I've never had that happen before. But yeah, it took me a few playthroughs to get that run just right. I looked up the route too. I cheated. Because when you've got a whole playthrough on the line, again, not that a playthrough takes super long. Like, you can blow through it in like an hour. For us, it will probably hit like 2 hours, I guess. So yeah, like 1-2 hours. But that adds a whole nother level of like kind of stress and anxiety to that section. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. Much more so than the permadeath mechanic. Even though the permadeath mechanic is probably never going to affect me because you got to die several hundred times to very specific enemies. But the idea of a permadeath mechanic irritates me. It irritates me. I don't like that idea. Like, after you've spent so much time and whatnot on a build and like a playthrough or a character or whatever, and then the idea that they can just that they can just go away, like you can just be deleted, that bothers me a lot. It's like one of the things about this game that is kind of small because it won't probably ever affect me. These guys with the red swords, that's who can cause your entropy to increase, apparently. But small thing that I just don't like. It bothers me. And there's also an achievement to beat the game with less than 1% entropy, which means if you get over 1%, I mean, there's no bringing that back down. So you need to start a new character if you want to get that achievement. If you're over 1% by the end of your first playthrough, which is kind of whack. That's kind of wild. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't know. That's sketch to me. Some interesting decisions by the devs for sure. Adding lots of things that I don't think most people want in a game. Like, but kind of, again, just kind of interesting that the devs like made the decisions that they made. It's an interesting game. Like, you gotta give it that. I mean, there's just things about this game that are very unique. Even if they're not, for better or for worse, right? Even if they're not all good things. We'll just summon this guy. Let him take care of some baddies. Get a little XP. All right. But yeah, I don't know if I'll keep playing this game after this stream because I've already kind of done everything there is to do. I could probably go for like a few different builds, I guess. The only other one that I'm aware of that's maybe like on the same level as this build, I think is probably just that leech build, but that I talked about earlier. But that's pretty much a melee build, if I understand correctly. The good thing about vampirism that makes this build really work is that, to my knowledge, there is no way to get your abilities to leech, right? Whenever you see this game, I'm getting trapped here. Whenever you see this game like mention leeching of any kind, it's referring, and I've tested this, it's referring to your melee damage that has that ability to leech. And vampirism, that perk, is the only way that I know of that you can leech anything using your abilities, like the staff shooting, for example, which makes it really good, like crazy good. I don't need to get that lever. I just did it for, I don't know, for lols. So anyway, and then converting that health leeching into flux so that your staff shots are just recharging your flux with every shot. You basically never run out of flux. So I mean that's just amazing for you to be basically just a completely ranged character. I mean, that's really good. Like, even in Dark Souls, like pretty much all the Souls games, if you're a ranged character, you should still have like a melee option. But in this game, you don't need it. Like, you can do it all with the summon and the like the staff shots. So, and the armor is good too. So this is indeed the final boss. We'll see, and it's probably the most difficult boss. I think it's fairly safe to say. I don't know. I mean, you can see we're absolutely destroying it. But this boss can surprise you sometimes. That attack, for example, does pretty good damage, so you kind of have to dodge sometimes. I don't know. I mean, I'm saying this is the hardest boss, and like we basically just cheese the hell out of it like the rest of the game. But you know, I said in the beginning, game's not super hard, especially if you have the right build. But yeah, that's it. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. We made it look easy today, but of course we're an endgame build, so you know, you can do your own thing. If you want to do that, that's great. If you just want to play the game, you should just play the game. Everybody should play this game. It's awesome. This is an awesome game. The credits crack me up. Look at this. That's all of them. Like, that is crazy how few people worked on this game. I mean, dude, that is really impressive. I mean, jank and all, and I think they're still improving this game. Like, it's come a long way since launch. Still lots of problems, but yeah, okay, so new game plus. I don't know that it shows you after a certain amount of pluses. But anyway, so that's the build. I don't think there's anything else. We're at a hour 40. I don't think there's anything else I had that needs to be said right now about the game. It's cool. It's cool. It's fun. You can be overpowered. I like being overpowered. Thank you all for tuning in. Soyboy Stream, Soyboy Gamer. This will be up on YouTube. I don't know what we'll do next. I was thinking about showing off like a Dragon's Dogma 2 endgame build because I've got one of those. I tried Eternal and just failed miserably earlier. I might keep trying to show off that deck. I don't know. We'll see. But thank you all, and if I don't see you again this weekend, because I don't know if I'm going to keep streaming, have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.